How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Detroit Lions franchise here on Madden 22. My name is Football Fan Forever, and it's time for our preseason highlight video. While we haven't exactly overhauled our roster, this is an opportunity for us to see how some of our young impact players perform. In particular, I have high hopes that guys like DeAngelo, Carmichael, and Devin Woodson can bring some stability to a defense that was among the worst in league history last season. On the offensive side of the ball, we've added a couple of new faces, but TJ Hawkinson seems to think that third-round tight end Dexter Allen can be something special in this league. It's always fun to see these types of scenarios pop up, and I'm curious to see what this one has in store for us. This is my first Madden 22 franchise, so that's exciting. Also with us heading into the second season of this series, I decided to boost the XP sliders for basically every single position. I did that because I want to develop not only my draft class better, but also the exciting rookies that have been taken around the league. Offensive linemen get the biggest boost, but cornerbacks also get a hefty bump as well. While running backs who already have a lot of talented players do not get a very big boost at all. With that bit of bookkeeping out of the way, it's time to take a look at some of the undrafted free agents that we will be seeing in today's video. Wide receiver Keegan Darby has potential as a deep threat and potentially a kick returner. Left end Kai Wilkinson was a player I targeted in the draft but ended up going undrafted, and he might have potential as an interior defensive lineman. Dante Clark brings good size and good speed to our secondary, but like Sean Francois, he is raw in terms of pass coverage, while cornerback Sergio Shears lacks long speed but is a press man cornerback. The biggest question mark in this preseason, however, surrounds quarterback Bob Hairston, who's picked number 19 overall in this recent draft. His athleticism is unquestioned, but it remains to be seen how consistent he is throwing the ball. How well our offense performs this season falls squarely on his shoulders. So this video is going to be a highlight compilation of the 3 games that I played. I tried to include plays and players that influenced my decision for how this roster is ultimately shaped heading into Season 2. So our first game is against the Buffalo Bills. Now the starters only play 1 quarter here in the first preseason game, and well, we had our hands full with Josh Allen. All day to throw, and he finds Cole Beasley on the right sideline for 27 yards. Buffalo scores easily on their first possession, and then it's our first opportunity to get a look at Bob Hairston. He's got 92 throw power and a very fast release, so it honestly feels like the ball is leaping out of his hands. Like on this play, 1st and 10 under center at the 39-yard line, 2 receivers left, 1 right, and there's interior pressure from Ed Oliver. Doesn't matter, he threads the needle and finds Quintez Cephas for a gain of 20. Now those aren't the types of throws we can expect him to make consistently because he only has 71 throw under pressure, but it was still nice to see him able to get the ball away quickly. It's his quick release plus his natural athleticism which give Hairston the opportunity to be a playmaker for this offense in more than one capacity. And here he finds Amon-Ra St. Brown down to the 3-yard line with a nice throw on 3rd down. A couple plays later, it's 3rd and goal from the 1. Jamal Williams is in the game, but Hairston is going to take the ball himself and fall ahead for the quarterback sneak and the game-tying touchdown. Nothing super special there, but it is his first touchdown as a member of the Detroit Lions here this preseason, and it's fun to watch him score. It's also nice to see our first team offense drive the ball down the field and put it in the end zone for 6. Back to the defense here with the first quarter winding down. There weren't a lot of defensive highlights, but here is 6th round defensive tackle Tyrell Williams with a play at the line of scrimmage. And that will take us into the second quarter, and the backups will enter the game. There was one player who looked like a man amongst boys here, and that was middle linebacker Sean Dean Hamilton. He was flying around the field and made a strong case for a starting job with his play in this game alone. Later on, it's 3rd and 3, and it's undrafted rookie Ladarius Williams coming through unblocked to make the stop on 3rd down. Buffalo misses a field goal, and it's time for the David Blau show. He played well in relief of Jared Goff last season, and here he finds Miles Baker to the left side. Baker had a couple nice catches in today's game. In the very next play, it's Blau under center, Baker and Jarby to the left, but it is Dexter Allen who takes a throw here and picks up a first down to the 18-yard line. Blau starts 3 of 3 for 45 yards, and our second team offense pushed their way inside the red zone. Here's 3rd and 4 from the 12. Deep drop for Blau, and he's getting aggressive, taking a shot into double coverage, but Dexter Allen can't quite haul it in, and the Detroit Lions have to settle for a field goal. The Bills then largely turned to rookie quarterback Jacob Graves. He really shredded our backup pass defense, but it wasn't all their fault. There were just some really nice throws and excellent catches like that one, but for the most part, a trend started to emerge. We struggled to cover wide receivers, and more importantly, we struggled to get pressure. The few times we did were coverage sacks like this one, as Dalton Logan, the undrafted right outside linebacker, drops Graves for a loss of 13. That being said, this is a defense that is comprised mostly of rookies at this point, and that's what's going to make up the majority of our depth, as guys like Sean Francois nice down to make a nice play in the backfield there on the screen. And that was a nice little 2-play sequence for us. But Buffalo would get the ball back pretty quickly after that with 1:11 to go and 2 timeouts, ball at midfield. And despite some pressure, Dom Clark gives up the big catch and run here despite tight coverage, and Buffalo moves inside field goal range. They would score before the half, and we took over in the third quarter, down 7. Here's David Blau on 3rd and 4, rolling to his right, setting his feet, and finding Dexter Allen for a gain of about 7 and the first down. We do end up throwing the ball quite a bit in the preseason, as I wanted to vet our wide receiver depth. Here's a nice catch and run by undrafted rookie Keegan Darby, who impressed me this preseason with his run after the catch potential. We scored a field goal on that drive, and then it was back to the defense. Jacob Graves is really tearing us apart, and it was rare that we forced an incompletion from him. He completed his first 17 passes in a row for the Bills, and that was his first incompletion of the game. One play later, it's 3rd and 8. Everybody going deep, and Graves is sacked. It's Lucas Parra, the 7th round selection, who eventually gets there for our defense's second sack of the day. Back to the offense now. It's still a 17-13 game, and there's one player on this offense that really impressed me. It's Dexter Allen, who led both teams with 7 receptions and 83 yards. Detroit tacks on a field goal with just over a minute to go in the third quarter, and the ball is back in the hands of Jacob Graves. And once again, he's got all day to throw, but eventually time runs out. Nearly another sack there, and it's quickly 3rd and 10. This was a play that really made me question our defensive depth, however, as we bring 4 against a 5-man protection scheme, and Graves has all day to throw the ball down the field. His receiver finishes running his route and has time to turn around and come back for it. All in all, we really struggled to get off the field, even on 3rd and longs like this one. Even when the ball got out quickly, we weren't able to make the stops that we needed to and gave up a lot of yards after contact. That's definitely something I've noticed about Madden 22 that I wish was different. But our offense benefits from it as well, so I can't complain too much. Later on, it's 3rd and 2 inside the 10. Time for Graves, and it's Sean Dean Hamilton making the stop and forcing a 4th and 2. We bring out our goal line set, 6 defensive linemen, and they get the first down and a lot more. That was definitely a low light for our backup defense here, as we put all of our focus on stopping the run and still couldn't make a play, as John Panisini overruns the play and Lucas Parra's arm tackle is not enough. That would give Buffalo an 8-point lead with less than 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Once again, we struggled to get pressure, although they do leave 6 in to protect, and eventually time runs out. It's Dalton Logan there again, and we are able to force a 3rd and 17. Graves once again to the air, firing short, and this is embarrassingly close to allowing a conversion. But instead, they're going to line up and kick a 56-yard field goal. This is Ryan Santoso, who misses his 2nd field goal on the day by hooking that one wide left. And that gives our offense a chance to tie the game here. Down 8 with just over 2.5 minutes to go. This is undrafted rookie free agent Alton Haywood connecting with Deshaun Stevenson for a gain of 14 to make it 3rd and 7 as we approach the 2-minute warning. Haywood has some speed, and he is going to call his own number on this one, and his gamble won't pay off, as not only is he stopped short of the marker, he also loses the football just before the 2-minute warning. We end up burning our timeouts and eventually make a stop as the clock continues to wind down. Santoso from 55 again is wide left, and we have one more chance at a Hail Mary here. 14 seconds on the clock. Maybe we can get a little bit closer. But Haywood's taking a deep shot to Quan Sandridge inside the 10, and he hauls it in. But that is going to end the game as we cannot stop the clock or get lined up. Just didn't have the arm strength to get that one into the end zone. But Sandridge sure put himself on the map with a 49-yard grab there. And Quintez Cephas also gets an upgrade, a pretty nice one, as we head into Game 2 against the New England Patriots. The starters play 2 quarters in the second preseason game here, and we actually start the day with the ball after winning the coin toss and electing to receive. And DeAndre Swift is showing that he is ready to start the season with a nice 12-yard carry there, a chunk of that coming after contact. But I really wanted to see what Bob Hairston could do, so he ended up throwing the ball a lot here. And he dances around the pocket on 2nd and 8 before finding Amon-Ra St. Brown to midfield. And we get some bad news as Penei Sewell is injured. Thankfully, it doesn't appear to be a serious injury, but we still elect to put in backup right tackle Joey Dupree for a couple of series. Christian Kirk had no receptions in our very first preseason game. Didn't see the ball thrown his way, so I wanted to change that here in the 2nd and 3rd games and see what he can bring to our offense. And there's a nice catch and run there to set up goal to go from the 7. Hairston to the air, and he's going to connect with Quintez Cephas for the touchdown. I think that was my favorite touchdown from the preseason, as Quintez Cephas looked more or less covered when I threw him the ball. But this angle shows how wide open Quintez Cephas was, and Hairston puts it where only his wide receiver can haul it in. So the first team offense starts off really strong with a touchdown drive. How's our defense fare? Well, we really struggled against the run. Here's a gain of 18 for Damian Harris, as he did not see contact until he was in the secondary there. One play later, it's 2nd and 10. Mac Jones is under center, single high safety look from the Lions, and they'll go to Harris, who runs his way through Williams and is down to the 30. 45 yards on just 5 carries for Harris, and it's 1st and 10 New England at the 30. Mac Jones heading to the air, and there's a nice play made by DeAngelo Carmichael in pass coverage. How about a punter highlight? Here's Jack Fox. We re-signed him this past offseason to a multi-year deal, and he is in mid-season form, dropping this one at the 4-yard line. Back to the defense we go. We did have a couple of nice plays against the ground game here. Here's a 2nd and 10. Harris gets the call, and the Patriots left Deshaun Hand unblocked. You cannot do that. And we eventually get the ball back with the score tied at 7 in the 2nd quarter here. Last quarter of work for the offense. Here's J.J. Dunlap with a nice carry up the middle. Joey Dupree with a nice lead block there, and it's 1st and 10. That run sets up a nice play here. Very next play, 1st and 10 at the 42. Play action for Hairston. He is well protected, and there's T.J. Hawkinson for a nice gain into New England territory. 22 yards for the third-year tight end. He had a strong day against the Patriots, already over 50 yards on just 4 catches. Later on, we'd run into trouble, however. 3rd and 10, Hairston under pressure had Cephas, who had a step on his man, but he overthrows him, and we have to punt. That would put the ball back in the hands of Mac Jones and this Patriots offense. Under 7.5 minutes to go in the first half, and once again they head to their running game. But it's Julian Okwara who makes a play there for a loss, and while New England scores, it was a good look for the backup outside linebacker. Later on, our offense gets the ball back, and Dexter Allen, making that look easy, hauls that one in and puts Hairston over 100 passing yards on the day. Just over 2 minutes to go here. One more play before the 2-minute warning. Hairston again misfires in the direction of Cephas. I definitely forced that throw, so it's a good thing that he missed, but still not a good look for the rookie quarterback. As here's a 1st and 10 inside the 2-minute warning, and TJ Hawkinson is wide open down to the 15. I found myself targeting our tight ends a lot in this preseason, and that would lead to a goal to go here. Ball on the 2, Hairston in the shotgun, Swift to his left, and it's DeAndre Swift finishing off this drive with a touchdown run. That would be it for the first team offenses and defenses as we played to a draw before the backups entered. New England starts the second half with the ball. And it's play action for Jarrett Stidham, firing over the middle. There's really good separation away from Dante Clark. And New England's offense comes out firing. A couple plays later, the ball is at the 43-yard line. Stidham alone in the shotgun, pump fakes, airs it out down the right sideline, and that is hauled in inside the 10. Stidham going 3 for 3 for 72 yards. He finds Amir Clay inside the 10-yard line, and a couple plays later, it's 3rd and goal from the 1. Lions needing a stop, and they will get it. Javin White, the backup middle linebacker, making the play there, and it's 4th and goal. New England settles for a field goal, but it's not long before they are down inside the red zone once again. And Stidham with all day to throw, fires. This one is tipped around and caught at the 5. An awkward play that doesn't go our way and eventually leads to a 10-point New England Patriots lead. With 1 minute to go in the third quarter, here's a nice play by James Winter at the line of scrimmage. And if you're wondering where all the offensive highlights are in this game, well, there weren't very many, as New England pretty much controlled the game in the second half, especially in the third quarter. And it was up to our defense to try and keep us in the game. There's Kai Wilkinson with a sack back at the 16 to force 3rd and goal, and New England has to settle for a field goal. Alton Haywood in the game. He will hand off to Jamar Jefferson, who loses the football. All the momentum and the big plays were going the Patriots' way, as this is not a good look for Jamar Jefferson. He's mired in a battle for that 4th running back spot, and he's had his trouble with ball security in the past. That will set up another goal line stand for this defense. Patriots at the 1 2nd and goal, and Derek Barnes is there, but the ball just crosses the plane. And the Patriots make it a 3-score game with under 6.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. A rally at this point is unlikely, but the Patriots are going to go for 2 here. And Stidham has all day to throw, but everyone is covered, and eventually Austin Bryant gets there for the sack. That will keep it a 19-point Patriots lead and put the pressure on our offense to try and make this a game again. It's Alton Haywood, and once again he's taking a deep shot, and once again Quan Sandridge hauls it in 53 yards to flip the field for the Lions. I think out of all the backup wide receivers, he impressed me the most. And one play later, it's 1st and goal, and down goes Haywood. Joey Dupree getting a lot of playing time in this game, and he just got bullied by A'Shawn Robinson there. tossed aside with ease, and down goes the rookie right tackle. He had his struggles in pass protection this preseason. That will make it 2nd and goal from the 14. Haywood again back to pass, firing to the right side, and Nicholas Harper will score. And his greatest strength is his route running ability. Go back and take a look at how much separation he had on that route. That was impressive. But then it came time for our defense to try and get a stop before the 2-minute warning. 2nd and 9 from the 47-yard line, and we give up another big play up the middle. Winter giving chase and finally taking him down inside the 8. Stevenson going over 80 yards on that carry and putting New England inside the 5-yard line here. 3rd and goal. Hand off Stevenson, and he's down at the 1, they're saying. And I had to go back and take another look at this. This is the kind of play that I think should be ruled a touchdown and then eventually overturned. As you can see, the knee is down before the ball crosses the plane, as New England tacks on a field goal for a 15-point lead with 90 seconds to go. 4th and 10. Haywood retreating, fires down the field, and there is Sandridge again at the 50. Those two had a natural chemistry that made for some fun moments in this preseason here. And that will give us a shot to at least put some more points on the board. Haywood flinging this one downfield for undrafted rookie Earl Dixon, who can't hold on, and that will make it 2nd and 10. 54 seconds to go. We're not winning this one, but maybe we can get some more fireworks before this one is over. Haywood under pressure again, fires Harper's direction, but he stepped out of bounds, and it's 3rd and 10. Eventually 4th and 10, and New England is playing press coverage here at the line. You know Haywood has been looking Sandridge's direction, but the pass is into triple coverage, and that will end this one. A disappointing loss to the Patriots, and we really gave up a lot of rushing yards. So I decided to invest in the weight room upgrade for our defensive coordinator to increase the strength of our defensive linemen by 4. So that means that guys like Devin Woodson have a nice boost to their strength score. He's now at 96. As we head on to the 3rd and final preseason game, Jonah Jackson gets a power upgrade for us. +2 to his run block power is always nice to see. I envision us being a run-first team. That's usually how I tend to play Madden. So having guards that can really push the pile is helpful. Our 3rd and final preseason game comes against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and there's Devin Woodson coming just a second away from his first sack. He's actually lined up on the outside here, which is not what I had in mind for him. But he nearly takes down Trevor Lawrence for the sack, and we're able to hold Jacksonville's offense to just 3 points on their opening drive. For whatever reason, your starters also get 3/4 of work here in the final preseason game, but I wanted to give some touches to guys like Deshaun Stevenson to see what they could do against a full NFL defense. And, well, Stevenson has the potential to be a big weapon for us, as does Bob Hairston, who got a lot of work in this game. We haven't really seen him run, but there is a 9-yard gain to move the sticks and make it 1st and goal. We'll spread the field 5 wide, and Hairston had Hawkinson open but just missed him. And very shortly thereafter, it's 3rd and goal from the 5. Hairston against the blitz, fires late over the middle, but Amon-Ra St. Brown hauls that one in. And that will be a 7-3 Detroit lead. Now this timing is all me. I really held on to that ball too late, and it could have been picked. But it's actually thrown a little bit behind St. Brown, and that allows him to box out the defender and make a nice play. Back to the defense. There's a nice play for Devin Woodson, even if it ended up with a gain of about 3. He's still got his hand in on a couple of plays here, and I think the +4 strength bonus was worth it. As on 3rd and 7, it's Jabari Zuniga back at the 22-yard line. His speed on the interior rushes there, especially against the screen, made a difference as they couldn't set up the play. That would give our offense the ball back with under a minute to go. And it's Bob Hairston rolling out, setting his feet, and firing down the field for Amon-Ra St. Brown. And St. Brown had a pretty good preseason, all things considered. I found myself looking his way quite a bit, and he did not disappoint. Our run defense did improve in this third game as Ali McNeil just throws aside the tight end and makes the run stop to force a field goal. And Detroit's lead is 10-6 as Bob Hairston takes it from his own 24, 3rd and 10, rolls out to his right, sets his feet, and finds Quintez Cephas at the 41-yard line. And this was a game that our offensive strategy started to take shape. We want to run the ball well and set up play-action passes that get Bob Hairston on the move and out of the pocket. There's J.J. Dunlap getting a touch with the first-team offense there. And just a couple of plays later, it's 1st and 10 from the 29. Here's that play action, and Hairston is on target over the middle down to the 8-yard line. There is Cephas again as our offense is rolling. With a 4-point lead, it's goal to go from the 8. Deshaun Stevenson in the game, and he is into the end zone untouched for the score. And I nearly messed that one up. The dive and the ball carrier give up button are the same. The only difference is how long you hold them. So simply tapping X doesn't work for a dive anymore. As Tyrell Williams makes a nice play there to get the ball back to us. Jacksonville does score a touchdown, but we lead 17-13 with a minute plus to go in the second quarter, and Deshaun Stevenson is making the most of his touches. Even with Hairston not being the most accurate quarterback, we were still able to move the ball fairly well. Here he takes a check down to DeAndre Swift, who makes an excellent move to pick up the yards after the catch needed to convert. And the drive continues. Pretty soon afterwards, we face a 3rd and 8 from the 39-yard line. And against the blitz, Hairston is still able to buy time and fire deep down the field for Amon-Ra St. Brown inside the red zone. It's amazing what he's been able to do with the likes of Christian Kirk and Quintez Cephas sucking up attention. And we add a field goal on that drive for a 7-point lead, and DeAngelo Carmichael nearly comes away with an interception. Instead, the Jacksonville drive will continue, and they make it 1st and goal from the 6. Hand off to the left side, and Ali McNeil is there again. He is growing into his role as a run-stopping defensive tackle, and that will eventually force a 3rd and goal from the 3. Hand off, and that will go backwards. Sean Dean Hamilton, the first one there, along with Deshaun Hand, and Jacksonville will be forced to kick a field goal. Just 30 seconds remaining in the starters' time here as J.J. Dunlap has another nice carry. And that will take us to the 4th quarter, the last quarter for these backup players to make an impression in hopes of making the 53-man roster. It's Alton Haywood in the game again. He's rolling to his right, and down he goes. And now Caleb Ramsey is shaken up. We started getting bit by the injury bug. Very next play, it's 2nd and 14. Our backup left guard just got hurt. Haywood on a quick drop fires to the right side for Nicholas Harper, and Joey Dupree is injured, so our backup right tackle gets hurt as well, and it's 3rd and 9. 4 minutes and 21 seconds to go. It is a tie game here, 23 apiece, and Haywood will find Quan Sandridge on the slant route over the middle. How good has Sandridge been in this preseason? He really impressed me. But we once again find ourselves facing a 3rd and long, this time 3rd and 9 from the 31. Haywood scrambling, but he's going to get caught well shy of the marker. And then it's Alton Haywood who's slow to get up. So that will bring out the field goal unit for a 45-yard try. Austin Siebert has been in a quasi-kicking competition along with Brandon Thompson. But with the exception of a 54-yard miss, Siebert was perfect this preseason. And that will give us a 3-point lead with under 3 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Tyrod Taylor in the game for the Jaguars. He's got time, and he is intercepted by Dante Clark. The rookie cornerback has had a difficult preseason. I feel like I've been calling his name for a lot more coverage lapses than plays. But he has a very timely turnover here, and he jumps the route and gives us the ball inside the 25-yard line at the 2-minute warning. Here it's 3rd and 12, David Blau in the game. He's going to take a shot up the seam, and now it's Blau's turn to be intercepted. Antoine Cisco with the pick, and he will return this one to the 20-yard line. So Jacksonville with a chance to drive down the field and either tie the game or even take the lead. They have all 3 timeouts, and they've been moving the ball fairly well against our backups. And Taylor's a mobile quarterback. He will take off, but the ball comes out, and it's recovered by Clark. So the rookie cornerback is credited for both turnovers that we force in this game, as Antoine Brooks gets there first, but Tevin Slayton applies the hit that jars the ball loose, and sure enough, that ball does come out, but our backup offense can only muster a field goal, and with under 40 seconds to go, the Jaguars have another opportunity to try and take the lead. They need a touchdown, and they just had a dropped interception, courtesy of Bobby Price, and it's 2nd and 10. Again over the middle, and again Price knocked it away. And that will do it for the preseason. We end up winning that one 29-23. And that will lead us to the cumulative statistics for this preseason. Now it's worth noting that I knowingly threw the ball a lot more often than running it, just to see what our quarterbacks and our wide receivers were capable of. So I'm expecting more of a balanced approach and also taking less risks throwing the football once the season begins. I think our running game can be good, and I don't want to put too much pressure on Bob Hairston's shoulders every single game. I think we'll be competitive this season, but our margin for error is razor thin given the roster that we have right now. There are a lot of young players on this team that are being thrust into significant roles, so this season is all about developing that young talent. Maybe you also noticed that we were using a new offensive playbook. We also have a new defensive playbook as well. So I'm excited to see how those new schemes can put our players in the best position to succeed. I am worried about our defense heading into this season. We only added 2 new starters this past offseason, and they're both rookies. So while I have high hopes for Devin Woodson and DeAngelo Carmichael, it could be that we're in for another long season on the defensive side of the ball, unless our young secondary can step up. I also think that a healthy rotation of defensive linemen can help us get more consistent pressure. So I elected to keep 7 defensive ends on the roster and will look forward to rotating them around as the situation calls for it. Someone like Devin Woodson, who is a very talented player but doesn't have the best stamina, will need to be rested on downs where we don't expect his pass rushing prowess to be needed. We do want to balance out with wanting him to see the field as much as possible, but if there's guys like Levi Onwuzurike who can step in on 1st or 2nd down every once in a while and give him a breather, I will definitely take that in exchange for having Woodson available on 3rd down to rush the passer. In other areas, it's our lack of depth that I'm concerned about, particularly our secondary. I was hoping that Ifeatu Melifonwu might push for a starting role given how strong he played last season, but he largely pulled a disappearing act along with Amani Aruarie and Jeff Oduka. So that's our top 3 corners who failed to really impress this preseason, which might make it another long season for our pass defense. We also are kind of thin at outside linebacker, which is another area where we've struggled to generate consistent pass rush. That being said, I think there's plenty to look forward to this season, and I expect that we'll have plenty of special moments and exciting plays from some of our new players. So here's your 53-man roster along with the practice squad. I don't think there are too many surprises, but if you see somebody here that you don't think earned their spot, or if there's a name that you think is missing, be sure and let me know down in the comments, and I will take another look at it. Kevin Darby makes the team as a kick returner, while Quan Sandrich and Nicholas Harper are going to be our primary 4 and 5 wide receivers. We keep 3 tight ends on the team, but elect to go with only 8 offensive linemen. One of those is rookie LaRon Linton, who I didn't feel comfortable leaving on the practice squad given his high-ish overall. A lot of our more difficult roster decisions came from the fact that we do keep 7 defensive ends on the roster. I didn't want guys like Kai Wilkinson or Lucas Parra to be poached from our practice squad. I might end up cutting John Panisini just because we have a dearth of defensive linemen, and someone like Michael Brockers can slide right in and play defensive tackle if push comes to shove. I elect to only keep 4 outside linebackers, with rookie Dalton Logan winning the backup right outside linebacker spots, and there are only 5 cornerbacks who make the cut as well. That mostly came down to the fact that I didn't see a whole lot of plays made by our cornerback group. Dante Clark got his roster spot basically by being the only reason we had 2 turnovers in the preseason. He was a player that I was going to cut, but then he made 2 plays, and that was really all it took for me to consider him for the roster. So with our roster more or less set, it's time to look ahead to this season, and I think we actually have a decent chance at getting higher than 4 wins, but it wouldn't surprise me if we are limited by our defense this season. So we're going with a conservative outlook so we don't get fired midway through this rebuild here. But I think our first game against the Chicago Bears is very winnable. After the retirement of Aaron Rodgers, Justin Fields at 79 overall is the highest rated starting quarterback in the NFC North. We played Justin Fields and the Bears to within a field goal last season, but they've gotten stronger as well, and they added wide receiver Dave Goodrich in the NFL Draft. Goodrich has blazing speed and will be their slot wide receiver this season, which might pose a matchup problem for us on defense, so we'll have to keep an eye out for 86 wherever he lines up on the field. But speaking of matchup problems, remember TJ Hawkinson's offer to mentor Dexter Allen way back at the beginning of the episode? We had 2 choices, an immediate impact or long-term development, and I went with the latter. So TJ Hawkinson, who is no stranger to being a superstar tight end, has helped Dexter Allen upgrade his depth trait to star development. So now we have not 1 but 2 promising young tight ends on this team, and I look forward to throwing a whole bunch of passes their direction. I can't wait to start Season 2. So that's all for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of the preseason down in the comments below, and I'd love to hear your prediction for this year. Have a good one, everybody.